Hey there and welcome back. So we have this register user function and let's get started to create this validation function. So if we go down here, we're going to have a login function still, of course. But what we will do here is we will make a new export function. Validate user registration info, whatever makes sense for you. It's going to be data. It's going to have a parameter of called data, and it's going to be user. So we can see here using this user interface that will define a user. Then this will return a validation result, how the validation went. And this might seem a little bit, could be a little bit duplication because we already have the user model. But there are some parts that we cannot do in this validation schema here from Mongoose, and there's something regarding the register date that we don't need actually, and also that we have difficulties doing email validations directly in here in an easy way, and we can do this pretty easy using Joy validation. Okay, so yeah. Let's get started with this. Let's see here. And this will be email and password, and we also need the name. So we will make a constant called schema, and this is Joy we will use. So we included Joy, install that. So we have, let me see here, we have the types of Joy, and we have Joy right here. Yes. We can see though that we still need JSON Web Token and bcrypt when we get there, but let's just do this later on. So we have object, and now we need to define this, and it will be a little bit the same as we did with the Mongoose, what we have there. But one important thing also to note here is that this is independent of the database. So this will be a database agnostic. We could say this can be used also if we decide to change the database to something else, which is a good characteristic of the software, that we will be independent of this Mongoose validation. So this will be required. If I can type this correctly here, let's see. Yes, so let's just copy that for the email. We can add to this, because now an email, this is a string, we can add to this that it should also be an email. So if we hover over to this email here, we can see it says requires the string value to be a valid email address. This is pretty handy. So we get automatic validation for emails without the need of maybe creating a regular expression or something. So we have password, I think. Let me just take this part here. So we have a password that is also required. We can modify this, and the password that comes in depends on how much you want to allow here, how long the password should be. But let's just keep this for now. Okay, so now we got our validation schema here, and then we just need to return schema validate, and then our data. Then it will tell us if it does not fulfill the criteria. And when we are at it, let's just make a quick function for when we log in. Validate user login information, because this will be a little bit different, not much, but the login In the login, we don't need to provide the name, we just need to provide the email and the password. So it differs a little bit. All right, user login info. Good idea to have the documentation set up. Validate user login info, validate user registration info. Okay, so we created these two functions here, and the first thing that we need to do now is, of course, we need to use them. And the way we can do this is that we can create a constant called, it will produce a constant called error if we have an error or the result of it. So we call validate user registration info, and we will pass in the request body that we get in here. So we need to send a body when we want to register. And if we have an error, create some space here, we will send a response with status 400, and we're going to make a JSON response. And let's put the error in here, and then because we're getting this object from Joy, we actually get pretty specific information in this error object here, and we can use this. And the error has a property called details, which is an array. And if we take the first element of this array, we can go into the message of this, and we can get detailed information about what is actually wrong, if it's the email that does not fulfill the criteria for an email, or the length of the password, and so on and so forth. So then we send the response 400, and then we need to return so that the front end knows that something is wrong, and we will not do the rest of it. So we can skip the rest of the logic here when we have an error. Okay, so this is enough for this video. We've created the validation functions from Joy, and we can use them whenever we want to, and they're independent of the database as well. So hope you make this work and have fun with this. In the next video, we will continue on creating the rest of the route here, the function here, and try to connect it to the routes file. So stay tuned. Happy coding. Bye-bye.